To the first topic of the day, here we go. Let's take up BRICS dynamics and the global order. So you know that you must have heard about, when you read newspapers, you must have read the BRICS, the BRICS grouping. Just like we say G20, just like we say ASEAN, there are different groupings of different countries. BRICS is a very, very important organization since last so many years. So this is to also tell you, not to tell you just about BRICS also, but tell you about the international relations, the global diplomacy, and how BRICS can be a big important thing and how India can also contribute. And you know that recently it is even said that BRICS focuses on sustainable development goals, the SDG, fair trade, and the poverty alleviation. All the other aspects are also included in this. So in this content, we'll actually discuss the most important topics, like we'll all discuss about what is BRICS about. And recently, you know, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, BRICS countries. Recently, some of the new other countries have also joined BRICS. And you should also know that a lot of other countries in the world are also willing to be a part of the BRICS. So, you know, new countries have come in. So, will there be a new name change? And in this concept, what is the new development bank? There has got a bank, just like IMF and World Bank. BRICS has got a bank. It has got a development bank. What is the impact of that? How is BRICS controlling everything? Let's understand each and everything detail by detail. Let's go to the important topic. Here we go. To the first important, let's start by understanding the most important basic origin. So initially the BRICS was actually BRIC without South Africa. And it was actually, you can see that person here. His name is Jim O'Neill. He was an economist at the Goldman Sachs. He wrote in a paper called Building Better Global Economic BRICS. So it was during his article, this man's article, that the term BRICS was actually coined. But it was just BRIC, and later on South Africa was added on, and this name was coined in 2001. And the paper actually highlighted Brazil, Russia, India and China. And they said that these countries will dominate the economy by 2050. They will dominate the whole of the world economy. So this was the article title. And the first meeting of the BRIC was held in 2009 in Yekaterinburg in Russia, marking the cooperation as a group. So you know that there are different type of groups. So let's actually give you a small introduction before we move on. See, there are different type of groupings. You know that there are different type of groupings. So this grouping called BRIC is very important because this can actually target and counterbalance the other Western countries, especially take an example of US. So you know that US is one of the most powerful economies, powerful countries in the world. While you create a good group called BRICS, it can actually include a lot of developing countries and some countries which can dominate. So this is one such way of counterbalancing the US. And also you should know that there is something World Bank and IMF. So all of them are backed up by Western support. So you need a new financial system also, which will be useful for developing countries. So this is all the important reason why BRICS was created. Let's decode it one by one. And now let's take a look at this. The agreement was to create the bank was signed. So there was a new bank which was launched. The BRICS had a separate bank, just like IMF and World Bank. They even launched a bank in 2014, something to be noted. And you can see the bank is the new development bank of the BRICS. So now the members need not depend only on IMF and World Bank. You can have the NDB. And please remember what something called as the CRA, or the contingent reserve. The contingent reserve arrangement is also a part. So you can see it is actually headquarters in Shanghai in China. And 2010, South Africa joined, forming BRICS. And 2014, you can just see it. BRICS is actually, you can see the headquarters. And you can see in 2010, South Africa is actually joining. And 2014, the new bank is created. And now you can take a look at this. In 2024, the BRICS summit will be in Kazan in October. Russia is hosting it. With BRICS, Russia will show that the West, that it has still friends and allies in the rest of the world. So this is also opportunity for Russia to show off against United States, to show that yes, we have support in other parts of the world too. So just take an, originally it was BRIC and then it became BRICS, and then the new bank, the new development bank was also launched in. So all these are important aspects regarding BRICS that you should be noting here. And now let's take a look at this all. South Africa, as you know, joined in 2010. It joined in 2010. So why was this created? I told you what is the reason why BRICS was created. So first of all, take some point: economic cooperation between the countries, trade, investment, and greater voice in the global governance, challenge the dominance of Western-led institutions. That is one thing I told you. The Western-led institutions or US or other countries, everything, there is a global order which is actually controlled by them. There is a global order controlled by them. To move away from this, you can see, to move away from this, you need another organization called BRICS, which will be all partnering with the different countries. So this is another important point that I would love to bring you. Have you heard about, next is an important question, especially in international relations. It is very important that you know about what is the concept of a multipolar world. You must have heard, when you read newspaper, you must have heard about this word called multipolar and bipolar, and not the bipolar syndrome that you say, it's bipolar, unipolar. So there are different concepts like this multipolar world. So now everybody say that we need to have a multipolar world. So what do you mean by multipolar world? What do you mean by bipolar? It's very important to understand this equation also. So this can be a question for the mains, and it's very important that you know the answer. So ultimate aim of BRICS. BRICS wants a multipolar world. I'll tell you. Just imagine that in the world, there is only one country. There is only one country. Take an example of USA. If the whole world is just controlled by one country, United States of America, everything, power, trade, investment, finance, everything is controlled by United States, then you should say that it is a unipolar world. That means the complete power, control, the economy, everything is with one country. But take an example of two countries. Maybe if the whole world is controlled by two countries, it's actually two polar. It's actually two polar countries, just like United States and USSR. During the Cold War time, you must have heard about the Cold War. It was actually a bipolar or a two polar countries. And now you can see that there are different countries. Say, taken the example of China, India, Australia, Brazil, Russia, South Africa. There are different countries around the world. So the power, the structure, everything, the governance is all distributed. It's distributed among different countries. So the power structure sharing is distributed between different countries. This is the concept of multipolar. Let us draw this in much more easier manner. So let's take the important point. I've already given you the most point. Let's take in. It refers to a geopolitical system where power is distributed. The key word is distributed among multiple countries. One is distribution. Rather than being concentrated in the hand of a single unipolarity or bipolarity. It's distributed. That is the key word that you'll note here. And in multipolar world, several countries or blocks have significant influence over international affairs, leading to more interaction. So this is what we said. And some argue that the world is moving towards a multipolar system with rise of China, India, and other countries challenging United States. So there are new countries coming in. China, India's rise is really a big thing. So that is towards multipolar world. And BRICS definitely is a good example of a multipolar world in the creation. So I think now you know what is the power distribution of multipolar world. So please understand, this is how we understand the multipolar. And maybe take a close look at what is the concept of, maybe we can even look further and understand about the other things like, let's take in by unipolar. That means one nation or one state possess disproportionate amount of power. Just one country has a lot of power. That is unipolar. And bipolar is a type of international system characterized, you can see. At one time you can see China and US, where both powers are between two things. It can become an economic power, military, cultural influence. Any power can be a part of that. So this is basically the concept of bipolar world, unipolar world, and multipolar world. So this is also a very important topic that you should be knowing for the exam. And now let's see why BRICS is a very important and a big thing that people say. Let's understand what are the important things that they say about it. So one is, it has a combined population, and please take in this point, apart from the main countries, there are new countries that have joined. Egypt has joined, Ethiopia has joined, Iran has joined, Saudi Arabia has joined, and the United Arab Emirates has joined. So new countries are about the BRICS group, so it is becoming a much more bigger group. And you can say that why BRICS is a big thing is because the population. It is the population of about 3.5 billion, or 45% of the world's population is actually representing BRICS. That is a big thing. And when you combine the economies, it's more than $28.5 trillion. About 28% of the global economy is part of BRICS. Again, an important point. See, all this can be a part of your prelims also. You can use this to write in the mains. And new countries are invited. And initially there was a small problem that Saudi Arabia was a bit hesitant to join. They said they will announce, and later on it is confirmed that Saudi Arabia has joined the BRICS grouping. So that is regarding the, and let's take a look at the, with Iran and Saudi Arabia, UAE members, BRICS countries about produce 44% of the world's crude oil. So it's even, I'm talking about the economics aspect, so 44% of the oil is also a part now. So that is also something that we have to know. So this again cut down the international dominance of International Monetary Fund and IMF and the World Bank is already discussed. Now let's take a look at the other important, the power structure that we are drawing here. See, just imagine the GDPs and the BRIC countries. You can say China, India, Russia, Brazil, Egypt, Africa, Saudi Arabia, Iran, United Arab Emirates. See the GDP, India is actually at 3.39 trillion. China is at 17 trillion. Just imagine how much big is India and China. China is how bigger than India in terms of, India is just $3.39 trillion, and you can see it is almost 18. It is almost touching 18. India is almost touching 4. So just imagine how much bigger is China compared to India. And you can see about Russia. What is the economy GDP difference between India and Russia? Russia is almost, you can see the GDP in trillion of US dollars. You can take a look at this. This is a BBC document that I'm just sharing with you. So please understand, and let's move on to the other important aspect as what about the important concept of a bank? I've told you the new development bank. The first idea is to, it is actually called the BRICS Development Bank or the New Development Bank. It is to use the fund for infrastructure and sustainable development projects. Infrastructure and sustainable development projects, and it is also financing in clean energy, transport, infrastructure, water, sanitation, and digital infrastructure. So this is being funded. So they are actually funding all these things also. And now also you should take that it is an alternate to World Bank and IMF, point number taken. And the headquarters of this is in Shanghai, China. The president is Dilma Rousseff, the former Brazilian president is this. And presently they are funding a lot of projects in South Africa, Brazil, water projects and sanitation in China and Bangladesh. So bank is also doing absolutely well. So these are all the important aspects that I would love to talk about. So take an important question of the mains. You have covered all this area. We have covered a lot of questions. BRICS, the evolution of BRICS, why BRICS, the new countries, the economics of BRICS, the bank of BRICS, what are the projects. So a lot of things. I think you can easily write a mains question from this. The expansion of BRIC membership is a double-edged sword. New members have come in. It can enhance the group's global influence, but also risk and dilute its cohesion and effectiveness. In light of this, evaluate the potential benefits and challenges of BRIC expansion. So you have to bring in the benefits and challenges of BRIC expansion, bringing in a lot of countries. You should definitely talk about the economic angle and how it will be a good idea.